Hey, I'm Josh, the founder of the Accountability Group, and hi, I'm Josh, in recovery and also battling the diseases of addiction and mental health. I was fortunate enough to catch it on my second reading that I didn't have the microphone on. Additionally, I'll be moving here pretty soon by like the beginning of next month. So this whole setup will change and you'll see something completely different. I might say that at the beginning of every reading, but I'll try just to say it when I do the first reading. And today's first reading is Daily Stoic, and we're playing catch up. It is August 15th. The Supreme Court of Your Mind. This can be swiftly taught in very few words. Virtue is the only good. There is no certain good without virtue. And virtue resides in our nobler part, which is the rational one. And what can this virtue be? True and steadfast judgment. From this will arise every mental impulse, and by it every appearance that spurs our impulses will be rendered clear. Seneca, Moral Letters. Think about someone you know who has character of granite. Why are they so dependable, trustworthy, excellent? Why do they have a sterling reputation? You might see a pattern. Consistency. They are honest not only when it's convenient, they are not only there for when it counts. They have the qualities that make them admirable come through in every action, arise with every mental impulse. Why do we revere people like Theodore Roosevelt, for example? It isn't because he was brave once, or courageous once, or tough once. It's because those qualities are shot through every one of the stories about him. When he was young and weak, he became a boxer. When he was younger and frail, he went to a gym in his home every day for hours on end. When he was shattered by the loss of his wife and mother, on the same day, he went to the Badlands and herded cattle, and on and on. You become the sum of your actions, and as you do, what flows from that, your impulses, reflects the actions you've taken. Choose wisely. This one is great because it really goes to the core of my program, and ideally everyone else's program, is the idea of intentional willingness to put in the work, which in this case is consistently going to meetings and being present and actively listening, is how I personally view it. So for me personally, I need to maintain my intentional willingness to work the program as hard as possible. Additionally, it is really important for me to show up to the different meetings that people regularly see me at, and always show up to my home group meeting, as I'm the men's liaison and do a lot of other service work. So when someone at our home group, because we have a very close, tight-knit home group, when someone doesn't show up to that, it's inevitable that a bunch of us will text and call this person just to see if everything's okay. And 9 out of 10 times, everybody's fine. They're just either out of the state or they're still working and they couldn't make it to the meeting. Just something came up to where they couldn't make it to the meeting, but then we end up seeing them the next week. And only one time out of 10, I would say that the person has slipped or stumbled, but then we see them the next week at the home group meeting, and they'll pick up a silver chip or a white tag, something along those lines. But consistency and being present is what I hope I exude. I've never put out like a survey, here's a Qualtrics link, please tell me whether or not you think that I've demonstrated a virtue of consistency and presence. But what you can see, and why they have the phrase stick with the winners, is because these individuals are just admirable and inspirational. You can see them working their program with an intentional willingness to put in the work. And that is something that I love about my home group, is there are so many people where if you hear, like, in my opinion, 8 of these people, and it happens rarely, but they all share on the same night, I am just bing, bing, bing. It is like a pinball machine, just getting so much knowledge and different perspectives on life and how to work the program, because that's part of what the 12 steps are. It's not only a blueprint of recovery, but it's a blueprint of how to navigate through life, which is why I know the Serenity Prayer inside and out, because there are times where people will, cause some sort of transgression in my mind outside of the meetings. And I have to take a step back and really check my own ego, do a spot inventory, say the Serenity Prayer, and see how are my actions, thoughts, and behaviors potentially a reason that this was caused, or I need to bring this individual or individuals aside and just explain to them very clearly my perspective of what happened and kind of hear their responses as to why it happened. Because active listening is another aspect in my mind that's at the core of being consistent and being present, is that I need to actively listen and internalize what's being said to me in the form of constructive feedback, hopefully. So that's the strength that I've gotten in my recovery from my various fellowships, and the whole stick with the winners concept is sticking with the people who you really see putting in the work. That being said, what I hope for you is that you're able to surround yourself by people that are at the center of the fellowship. Definitely find a sponsor who has these admirable and inspirational levels of consistency and presence and active listening, and see whether or not they will be a temporary sponsor or a permanent sponsor. They might have already too many sponsees, so they'll guide you to a really good alternative or alternatives as a temporary or permanent sponsor. With that being said, this is our YouTube channel, The Accountability Group. I would love for people to subscribe, watch, and like our videos, but most importantly, use the comment section. That's the whole point of keeping one another accountable. If you're a newcomer and you're dealing with post-acute withdrawal and you need to ask questions and find out, okay, well, how do I deal with cravings, or how do I go about, working the steps or finding a sponsor? When you ask those types of questions, then individuals who have time and recovery underneath their belt can respond and explain what they did that helped them in the early days of their recovery. And you'd be surprised, especially if you're a newcomer, and I didn't really get this until I had time underneath my belt, that the newcomers' experience and what they're sharing helps keep me sober, because I never want to wake up to the fluorescent lights of a hospital again. I never want to be in like a green, the green outfit and pants and have my shoelaces and belt taken away and the fluorescent lights, laying in a hospital bed, realizing that I'm about ready to go in for the next 72 hours, or who knows as long as I'll be there, because I've done 2 of the 3 things that can happen. There's jail, institutions, and death. So yeah, done 2 of the 3, haven't done the 3rd, fortunately, otherwise I wouldn't be making this video. So with that, we also have Twitter, which is #buildinghope, and you can go there and go to explore and hit hashtag recoveryposse or hashtag odaat, which is one day at a time, and you'll find plenty of people in recovery that are there that are extremely supportive. If you want to specifically DM me or at me, #buildinghope, then you'll get a response very quickly, because I get notifications for 3 of our platforms, the 3rd being Instagram, and that handle is #recovery. So again, feel free to at me or send me a direct message on Instagram. Additionally, feel free to ask any questions or share some knowledge about what's kept you in recovery and kept, continued to keep so much time underneath your belt, because we really want to hold one another accountable. And since I am the chronic relapser and the frequent flyer and have recovery time now underneath my belt, I'm the only one that manages those 3. So whenever you see anything get posted on YouTube, on Twitter or Instagram, that is me personally. It's not a bot. It's not another member of my team. I let the marketing team do their thing in other aspects. But because I'm the one that's had to live and breathe this the majority of my life, and then just like really work the program with an intentional willingness to put in the hard work to maintain my sobriety, I don't let anybody else touch those 3 platforms. So again, hi, I'm Josh, the founder of the Accountability Group, and hi, I'm Josh, still in recovery and vigilantly battling the diseases of addiction and mental health. Thank you.